This is just a regular store-bought, very typical turkey. It's been enhanced with the water solution, salt water solution. It's just your average run-of-the-mill grocery store type of turkey. This one weighs just a little over 12 pounds, so it's kind of a smaller to medium sized one. And I'm going to cook it a little bit differently. Usually people cook them just like this, cook them whole. I'm going to butterfly it, and there's a couple reasons why I like to do that. It'll give it all the skin will have easy surface area, so you can brown it up and crisp it up if you want to. You won't have any skin on the bottom that's going to stay soggy and unbrowned, because it's all going to be flat and open. And once it comes time to cut it apart for people to eat it, it's much easier to cut it apart when it's all laying flat rather than standing up like this. I've already taken out the stuff they put inside. Usually there's a packet of maybe gravy mix and giblets and neck, and sometimes there's something up in the neck cavity as well. Just remove these large chunks of excess fat. They usually pull off pretty easily. If they don't, just use a knife and pull them off, but most of the time they can pull right off pretty easily. This one came pretty well clean, so that's about it. This is the hardest part, I guess you might have here. You can see the center line right there, and just get a decent knife with a little weight, a little heft to it. This is a 10-inch chef's knife, and cut real carefully down to the breastbone, and you'll wiggle the knife back and forth a little bit, and you'll be able to feel that the breastbone in there. And when you do, try to keep the blade as close to that breastbone as you can, which is right here. You can see that just right there. It's pretty firm. Keep it as close as you can to it. And when you get up here to the neck area, that's where the bone is going to be thickest. So you have to be real careful. And you can cut right through it. That's all there is to it. You might see a little piece like this where it's kind of holding things together. Just when you blade through there a little bit on the other side if you need to. So it opens up really well, and you can see here is the breastbone, and I've cut right down next to it, just like I needed to. And now flip it over, or I should say carefully turn it over. And spread it out as best you can. If there's any little extra pieces of skin or something or other or fat on the top, you can remove those. Sometimes there's little pieces of fat that get standing up in there somewhere. This next part, I'm just going to press down as heavily as I can on it and try to break the rib bones in there on both sides so that this lays down as flatly as possible. I'm going to pull it back closer to me so I can get a better position on it, and just it's usually pretty easy. And that's it. At this point, if you want, you can remove the wings and just put them in the pan right next to the turkey. That'll give you a little more space there to get more crispy skin. Or you can leave them on just like this, whatever way you prefer. If you want to take it off, just follow the joint. Follow the, you can wiggle it around and kind of see where it's happening if you're not familiar with it. And then just work both sides. And you just keep moving it, and you'll see where that joint is. There's a little, my hand's in the way. There's a little line of fat in there, and you'll see a tendon there. And you can just be careful you keep your hand away from the blade you're using. And just like that, you can remove the wing. And that'll give you a really nice area to have a really nice looking skin. So, look, it's either way. You can leave them off. Leave them off. That doesn't make any sense, does it? You can leave them on or take them off. Either way. And again, this next one, just cut the skin around this. You can see where that little starting to bend right there. Just cut a little bit in and along the back side there. Same thing. Just cut gently through the skin and keep moving it, and you'll see where it needs to be cut. If you don't get it the first time, that's okay. Just keep looking at it until you see, and you'll see right there, there's two bones. There's one there, which is the socket joint, and you'll cut right between those. Just like that. You can see there's the socket joint from the wing to the body right there. And that is it. All we're going to do now is season it up and cook it. I'm going to do a little something else different. I'm going to cook this in a lower temperature oven at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. This is just a simple aluminum roasting pan. And when you butterfly turkey like this, you may have a problem with the pan not being big enough. And if that's the case, you can just let it kind of rise up a little bit like that. That's fine. Or you can go ahead and cut it all the way in half and then put the two halves in there, which is, I think, what I'm going to go ahead and do with this one here. Just to show you, you can do it just like this if you don't have a big enough pan for it to lay down flat. It doesn't matter, you can see the backbone right there. It doesn't matter which side you go on. I'm going to go on this side since it's closest to me. And there we go. Two turkey halves. And again, if you want, some people have to take the backbone all the way out. I leave it in there. There's some nice little chunks of meat, a couple different places there. But you can take it out. It's no big deal. Whatever. It's all personal preference. Whatever you like best. Whatever is going to make it easy for you to do on Thanksgiving or anytime you cook a turkey. And if you need to, you can go ahead and as a matter of fact, while I'm at it, let me just go ahead and do it. If you want to take this leg and thigh apart, just to make it easier on yourself, just like that. And then position in the pan, and we are ready to do this. Let me clean up a little bit here. You can see I got them in the pan. This is the half breast, the turkey leg, the thigh, the breast, and the backbone. And then this is the breast, the thigh, and the leg over here. And let me clean it just real quick, and then I'll season it up and put it in it. Don't forget your turkey wings. If you want, just take that wingtip and fold it back over the top, just like that. And find a place for it to sit in there. You've probably seen me do this before in other videos. I'm going to use this is an olive oil spray. I'm just going to put a decent coat. I mean, this is Thanksgiving. We're not going to try to save every calorie we can. But, you know, a little bit doesn't hurt to be saving a few here and there. So I'm going to use this olive oil spray. I've been using it for a number of years, and I like it pretty well. So put a good coat. All over the skin. And this happens to be my current favorite seasoning for turkey and chicken. I don't get paid by them. I wish I did, but I really like this. It tastes really wonderful on chicken and turkey. If you have something else you like better, by all means, whatever your taste buds tell you, go with that. I'm going to do a quick light covering with some of this. It's pretty good stuff. I've been using it for many years, but again, whatever you like, whatever works best for you. And the last thing I'm going to do here is use this temperature probe. I'm cooking this in the oven at 275 degrees, and I'm going to cook it to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, anywhere in the meat. I'm going to use the breast here to monitor the temperature. And I'm going to add just half a cup of water, maybe 1 cup of water. The quantity isn't terribly important. You can always add more later on if you think it's looking a little too dry in there. You can add a little bit more just to make sure that it doesn't burn on the bottom, and it'll help to give you some good drippings for making gravy if you want as well. So I'm going to insert this into the breast. Try to put the tip in the thickest part of the meat, and try to avoid the bone. If you put it in there and you feel it hitting bone, pull it back out and move it over just a little bit to stay away from that bone. Sometimes that bone can make the temperature probe give off a wacky reading or something or other, so just keep away from the bone there. I just brought it out of the oven. I was watching the temperature, and when I got to right at 160, 159, it looked like it was doing really good, but I wanted to crisp up the skin a little bit more. So I turned the broiler on, and I turned it up to 500 degrees. I got a couple of darker spots that I prefer, but you could use a knife and just scrape that off gently if you want. It's not going to hurt anything like that. It's going to be just fine. This has actually taken 1 hour and 35 minutes. And it is at 165. It probably just went up to about 167 right now. But it's done, ready to go. I'll let it cool for a little bit before I slice it. You could do this if you want to, if you have an outdoor charcoal grill or a smoker or a propane grill. You can do this pretty much the same way. You can put it in a pan like this, or you can put it right on the grate. You might want to put a pan underneath it though, to catch the juice that's in there for making gravy. I would let this cool for maybe 20 minutes roughly. You can keep the temperature probe in and watch the temperature. When it gets down to about 140, that's plenty. That's plenty good. You can start cutting it in. Right now it's just blazing hot. Let me turn it a little bit so you can get a different view. See the turkey leg, the thigh. This is the breast. This is the half of the turkey cut apart, the wing. And then this is the whole turkey, but this is the backbone here, the turkey thigh, the turkey leg, and then the breast up here. It's just, it's a really easy way to do it. And you'll see in just a second, I'll start cutting it up. But for you it's a couple seconds. For me it's going to be about 20 minutes while it cools down. That's going to be a little, you can see the bone there. You want to try to go on the opposite side of it. As best you can. You can feel that bone with the knife while you're cutting it. I'm not an expert at it, but I think I'm close enough now to do it that way. I left that little bottom portion of meat there, but that's not a big deal. You can just chunk it off of there pretty easily. People normally slice the turkey breast this way. I like to just slice it into nice size chunks. About 3/4 of an inch thick, 1 inch thick, whatever you like. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, while you're letting the turkey rest, and now while you're slicing it, you can take the juice out of the pan, like I did there, and you can add it to the gravy. You can start the gravy. By the time the turkey cools for 15-20 minutes, and you start slicing, that's another 10 minutes. So you've got 30 to 40 minutes there. The gravy can be cooking while you're getting everything else ready. So however you want to do it best. It's still blazing hot. As you can see there. How tender that is, how easily it comes apart. Ah, so juicy, so tender and tasty. Let me hack this up a little bit so you can see a little more there. It's just really tender and moist. It's a little bit of a close-up for you. The smaller turkeys will often be a lot more tender and juicier and flavorful because they're younger. But whatever works best for you. This is, if you need to, cook a couple of these smaller ones. Cook 2 or 3 if you need to. That'll give you more dark meat as well, more legs, more thighs. And with the turkey leg, just go right down the middle between the leg and the thigh, and look for that spot where you can see it. The joint is, and keep moving it if you have to, so you see where the knife wants to go. And there it is. But give it a try. I think you'll find it's pretty easy this way. It's quicker, really tasty, and CookNGobble delicious.